Hey guys, Brian here with Forest to Farm Project. Today at Terry's old house, we're going to finish up our ceiling fixtures. We're going to get a box cut in for a ceiling fan and then also for a light over the sink. Hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, now we're going to drill out a hole for the fan box. We've already measured it off the wall and off the end. We got it centered on the range area. And we got a Milwaukee hole dozer. So I love their names. One thing I'd like to mention, anytime the larger the bit you use, like this hole saw, the larger it gets, the more torque is working against you with this drill. So don't run it real fast. For one thing, it's going to grab and jump all over that sheetrock if you go too fast. Or if it does grab, it could really tear it up. And it may grab even if you're going slow. But if you've got it going fast and it grabs, that thing will come around. It can smack you in the face if you're too close. It'll twist your arm up and it can really hurt you. So you really got to be careful. In addition, there is a joist right here. So fortunately for us, we'll be able to mount a pancake box. We'll show you that when we mount it right on the joist area. So it's going to work out good. Let's do it.
Alright guys, the fan box we're going to be using to mount this fan is what we call a pancake box in the industry, but it is a Hubble or Rayco number 295-1 4-inch, half-inch deep ceiling fan box. And it's good for ceiling fans up to 70 pounds and light fixtures up to 150 pounds. And what it is just a simple half-inch thick round box that you can mount to the bottom of a stud, and it spaces the box down, or not to the bottom of a stud, to the bottom of a joist. And it spaces it down so that the lip of the box is at the face of the sheetrock, so your fan mount or light mount is flush with the sheetrock. It comes with mounting hardware that includes a plastic grommet, ground screw, and 4 mounting bolts to mount it into, or mounting screws to mount it into the joist. And then it has a shield that once you've mounted the box, you slip back over, tighten it down, and that way when the sheetrocker is cutting out the holes for all the fixtures, they aren't going to cut your wire, because with this being such a shallow box, it is very easy for them to cut your wire because you can only get a little bit in there and it is at the surface. What we generally do on a new construction job is we will leave a loop of wire above the fixture and then staple it off to the side so that we'll have 3 or 4 inches of wire in the box. When we pull the cover down, we pull the wire down, and that loop of wire that is stapled over here, there's a loop down into the box. You pull and you've got all the excess wire you need to make up the fixture. On this, we actually have the half-inch sheetrock, the heat tape in the ceiling, and then a 3/8 piece of sheetrock. So we have to shim this 3/8 to get it down to the proper level, because if you tighten the fan box up to the sheetrock, yet the box is up further in the ceiling, the fan's going to wobble back and forth. It's not a secure fit. So we've got to shim this down so we get a nice rock solid fit. All right, real quick and easy, we just made a couple of simple shims out of some hard fiberboard we had. It was about 1/4 inch, and with the spacing we have up there, it ended up being that we needed right at a 1/2 inch. So 2 of these stuck together, made a little notch for our wiring connector to come through. But one issue we had, that's made for new construction. It's not made for a spacer system. It comes with 1-inch screws. We have an extra 1/2 inch of space we need. Fortunately, just dropped one, we have some 1.5 inch number 12 hex head screws, just like the original screws. So these are a perfect fit. They'll do exactly what we need. Just so happens we have 4 left, and that's what we need is 4. So it worked out perfectly. Let's get to it. Since we don't have access like we normally do, we got to get the wire over here to get it in the box before we mount the box, or else it's going to be a nightmare to get it in it. So I'm going to take this number 6 wire. It's pretty rigid, stiff copper, and I'm going to run it up into the attic, run it over to where Dad is at with the wire, and he's going to tape it to it, and I'll pull this back down, have the wire right here where we need it, and then we can push it in the box, mount the box, and we're done. Got it. All right, it was a little dusty. Probably should have had my dust mask on, but I didn't. But either way, we got it down here. Just got to get this cut off, get the box mounted, then we can move on to the sink light.
Okay, we're going to check this wire for power before I cut it off so we don't short our pliers out. We're pretty sure it's off, but go ahead. There you go. It's a little volt stick. They read just the electricity in the wire just by putting it up next to it. Leave a little extra. I always turn my head sideways when I cut a wire, just in case. As you can see, we took this bracket, since we're putting these two spacers on the bottom, we sandwiched it all together, and then we pre-drilled the 4 mounting holes because it might want to move around up there. Now we've got it all locked together. Should make it a little easier to mount, and these things will pop right back out. And I went ahead and marked the center line on that joist on either side of this box mount. So when we get this up there, we're not confused on where's the board at, and we don't want to take a chance of missing it with some of these screws. Go ahead and feed our wire through the connector that's on the box. That's about more than we need. So we'll push the rest in the attic. Line all this up, and there they go, moving around on me.
Get one in there to hold them.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I'll get one over here too. Pull them back out when we get it in there. Alrighty. That'll help keep them aligned, maybe. And that baby is going to work out perfect.
Awesome.
Okay, now one of the best tools we ever bought was an impact driver.
Yeah, hands down.
And that's the tool that Brian said, Dad, we need one of these. I'm like, no, we don't need that junk. It'd just be something to carry around. Now I hardly ever set it down.
He never leaves home without it.
Yep, that's good. All right, let's fold this wire up there like the little guy was talking about earlier. Get my screwdriver over there. It's over here. Which we don't really need to cap this. This would be more on a rough end, but I'm gonna go ahead and cap it off for now anyway. Just because I can, I guess.
All right, next up for the ceiling box, since it's a lightweight pendant, we don't need anything heavy duty like the fan box. We're going to use one of the plastic round remodel boxes like we used for the receptacles and switches. It just happens to be round. Cutting a round hole, fortunately it comes with a template. For the main part of the circle, it is a 4-inch hole. But you also have 3 half-inch holes on the sides that are for these ears that flip out. So you have to cut those holes first, and then you would cut your 4-inch hole. Getting all that lined up can be tricky, but again, we've got these awesome stud finders that came with the TV mount, and it has a level in it, but also when you pull it apart, it has a little pin. I don't know if you guys can see that. It has a little pin on the end, and we put this up to the ceiling. We can use the pin to mark our center. Then we can hold the paper in position and mark our 3 outer holes. Drill those with a 1/2-inch spade bit first, then come back and drill the larger hole with our 4-inch hole saw. Box goes in the ceiling and we're done. Let's knock it out.
So the ceiling light that Brian's talking about is a light over the kitchen sink. So you want to have it center of the sink, and your countertops are generally 2 foot deep. So we've come to use a standard of about 1 foot out, which is half the distance of the countertop. So first I'm going to measure center of this window, which is 36.5. So that would be 18.25 is half of that. Is that right, Brian?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to see how far that is off the wall. That is 42.75. So I'm going to come over here at 42.75. And we want to be a foot off the wall, which is a little back from where I marked it. And we'll take this little tool we got with the pin. I'm actually going to poke it through the paper already. So now I know where the center of this thing should be. And we already know the joists are there and over here. We checked that out. These are magnetic. You can see there's one joist. If we weren't in the center, if there was wood here, then we'd put one of those pancakes like we did the ceiling fan. I've got the center marked here. Push this up there just to hold that in place. Now I come out here and mark each one of these holes. One there. One there. And one there. So now we mark where our center is, and then we mark these 3 holes. If we don't drill these 3 holes first, we won't be able to, because once you drill that 4-inch hole, it incorporates part of the center of those individual 1/2-inch holes. So we got to get those 1/2-inch holes first. This wire was in a cabinet that had a valance on the front, and it was in the top of the cabinet here. We're not going to have a cabinet here. We're just going to have this open. There'll be cabinets on either side, and it'll be open to the ceiling here. So luckily for us, this wire is right where we need it. If I can get it pushed up there. Switch off, yeah.
That always helps.
Yeah. All right. Losing a little bit of insulation there. Not bad though.
Gotta love that old insulation.
Mm-hmm. That looks like it's gonna work.
All right.
We'll hit it with the Phillips screwdriver. Well, there you have it.
That bad boy's up there.
Yes, it is.
All right, guys. Well, we got everything roughed in on the ceiling. That's it until we come back and do the final trim out. All we lack now as far as lighting goes is our under cabinet lighting wires. We're not going to waste your time showing you how we do that again, because we already did it in one previous video. We'll link that below. That way you can see our process for doing it. Additionally, we'll show you we'll link the video where we install these receptacles, but because it's gonna be the exact same process as doing that as far as getting the wires up from underneath up into the wall. All we'll do is pull these boxes out of the wall, since they're old work boxes, and grab the wire, fish it up to where we want, poke it out, nothing to it. One thing we always try to do if you're on new construction, we've really found it to be a big help, is we locate our under cabinet light wires above a receptacle. That way, if it gets covered up by the sheetrocker, we know, okay, we've got a wire above this receptacle. And we always put them at 60 inches because your standard cabinets are at 54 inches, since it's 18 inches above a countertop, which is 36 inches. And that way, you always know where it's at. Additionally, we take pictures of our entire houses when we wire them. That way, if there's any question about anything or something gets covered up, we pull our pictures up for that job. We have every single thing we did in that entire house. It really helps out. One thing that was kind of an oversight on our part when we were doing these receptacles, we had the holes open. We kind of should have pulled the under cabinet light wires at that time. But when you've already worked a long day and then you come home and do this, it's easy to overlook things. So it was an oversight on our part, but it's no big deal since it's an old work box. Loosen the 2 screws, pull it out, pop a wire, and we're done. So there's nothing to it. It's gonna be quick and easy. And next thing after this, we'll probably be tearing up the floor, because we've got to tear the old subfloor up, put new subfloor down, and then we can really get rocking and rolling on this kitchen and get it looking like a real kitchen again instead of being a total mess. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We really enjoyed making it for you. Be sure to check back. We got a whole lot more coming with this kitchen remodel. We still got to build some cabinets. We got to get the flooring picked out. We got to replumb the kitchen sink, and then painting, and we're about done. So thanks for watching. Give us a big thumbs up if you like what you see. Check back often. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you.